Hey, it's Sam, and I'm doing this quick video about a time that we're experiencing now called Pitru Paksha, which is the time to honor our ancestors and our ancestors who have passed on. As you see here at this page, this is from Amritapuri, which is the ashram of my Guru Amma. This is my Guru Amma right here. And her mother, Damayanti Amma, just passed, just left us. Now, of course, there's been a very high-profile death recently of Queen Elizabeth as the world mourns the passing. Queen Elizabeth was 96. I believe Damayanti Amma, which is Amma's mother, was actually 97 when she passed. If you don't know who Amma is, she's one of the most well-known and revered spiritual figures in the world. This is Amma's mother. Amma was born in South India, in Kerala, India. You see her sitting there. This is at her ashram in India at the ceremony. And I'm going to talk about the ceremony here that happened at Amritapuri and show you here the honoring of the passing of Damayanti Amma over these last few days. This just happened today. This was actually 14 hours ago as I'm recording this, September 20th here in the US. And you see this is after they honored the body here. Then what they do in India is, they, literally, say goodbye to the body and then they burn it. And so this was just posted 13 hours ago of them carrying Amma's mother, Damayanti Amma, to the final place to be cremated. But I wanted to talk about it because this is a very auspicious time for passing. Actually, Queen Elizabeth passed on September the 9th, right before this Pitru Paksha. Now, Pitru means ancestors, and Paksha means the waning half of the moon, or waxing half. It's the half of the moon. See, in the West and with our calendars and whatnot, we're not aligned with the cycles of the cosmos, with the cosmic cycles. But the cosmic cycles are broken up into two pakshas, Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. That's 12 cycles of 12 solar lunar cycles each year, and the solar lunar cycle is broken up into a waxing cycle and a waning cycle. The waxing cycle is called Shukla Paksha, and the waning cycle is called Krishna Paksha. So the waning cycle of each moon is called Krishna Paksha. Krishna means dark, and it's when the moon is waning. And this particular waning cycle of the moon is called Pitru Paksha, where we honor our ancestors. Now, you may remember that the last new moon we had was in Leo. And Leo is the sign of royalty and the sign of our ancestors, because the first nakshatra in Leo is called Magha, which is ruled by the Pitris, the divine ancestors. So all of these festivals and cycles are timed to the cosmic, to the cosmos, especially in India. There's nothing really to chance. We see these sacred Indian festivals timed to the cycle of the year where the earth is in its orbit around the sun. And Pitru Paksha is the full moon. It starts on the full moon. That's usually in Aquarius Rashi. And as you see here, it ends Bhadrapada month, which is usually the full moon is in Purva Bhadrapada usually. And then by the time that Paksha ends, or that waning cycle ends, we have the new moon in Virgo, and that starts Navratri. You see, Navratri starts Monday, September 26th, and it comes right after Pitru Paksha. Saturday, September 25th till Sunday, September 25th is Pitru Paksha. This is the waning cycle of the moon. So we let go and honor our ancestors in the afterlife. And then a new cycle begins, which is called Navratri. Navratri is honoring the goddess, the divine mother. You see all of these images of Kali and Durga preserving life, protecting life, and we celebrate and honor life in the form of the Divine Mother on Shara Navratri, which begins at the end of Pitru Paksha. So this is a very auspicious time to pass into the afterlife, even though it's a sad time. You see Damayanti Amma, who was Amma's mother. Amma called her, if she had any guru, it would have been her mother, Damayanti Amma, because she raised Amma from being a young girl who was born named Sudhamani. And young Sudhamani was quite confusing to her parents, who were just these simple Indian people living in jungle in India. They didn't understand Amma and, giving away their food to poor people and all of the other things that Amma did, especially later when she started hugging people and doing things like that. It was quite even scandalous. But her parents soon understood that Amma was not just their daughter, but she was actually a divine being, an avatar who was incarnated. So, but Amma is still also a person. She is incarnated in a body, and so when her birth mother passed, you see Amma sitting here sad. It's very hard for me as a devotee of Amma to see her sitting there sad with her mother, lying in that, in her death chamber there. And you see here again, this is the final rite that happened today. After being prepared for cremation, Damayanti Amma's body was brought back to the main hall for Amma and her family's last farewell. Amma's sweet love was touching to witness as she gently held the face, kissed the forehead, and then the feet, and finally closed the eyes on her mother's body. Then she carefully fixed a coconut on her elder brother's head. As per tradition, the Swamis joined the family in expressing their last respect to Damayanti Amma. And here you see Amma Chi here, and Damayanta Amma. Amma means mother. Damayanta means, that's her name, Damayanti Amma means Amma's mother. And you see Amma here. You see how touched people are to be witnessing this, kissing the forehead of her deceased mother. This is her brother. I believe her brother is this man right here, elder brother, oldest brother. Let's see Amma there, and Amma probably had tears in her eyes. She feels there's she putting the coconut on the eldest son's head. I've been to this ashram. I know many people who are there now. I've been here. As much as it's a sad occasion, if I were in the ashram now, it's sad but very reverent as well. It's very auspicious passing, and you have to understand that in Indian traditions, when rightly understood, death is not death. It's not a terrible thing. It's sad because you grieve and you mourn for the living, because we don't get to share in Damayanti Amma's life anymore. But death is a transition, and Amma's mother is surely blessed. But these ceremonies are done so that we can honor and revere the life of the person, and then invite them into the afterlife. You see, these are all Amma Swamis. I've spoken to many of these men here in Orange before at different times in my years of knowing Amma. And see, there's her body. If you've ever been to India and seen a cremation, when it happens, it's sacred and very out in the open. The body is burned right in front of everybody and all. I'm not sure how they did it here, but you'll see the next image that we have here is of the funeral pyre here. You'll see that it's that they carry to this was 14 hours ago at 4 p.m. Then at 5 p.m., Amma's mother, Damayanti Amma's body is carried from the main hall to the cremation place for the last rite conducted per the tradition by her sons and grandsons. Now Damayanti Amma's final resting place is next to Amma's father, Suganachan. And then you see, so now they're carrying the body to the final resting place next to her husband. And again, I've been here. I know where they're walking from that ashram, from that main hall over to where this place is, over by the backwaters and near where Damayanti Amma lived. And so you see, these are the Swamis, and it's very somber and a lot of mixed emotions. Sad. It's sad to see Amma sad, but also understanding the larger continuum behind all of this, It's called moksha. It's also called liberation, being liberated from the body. It's called Maha Samadhi as well. Maha means great. Samadhi means merging with the divine. So there are many ways to talk about death in India, especially in spiritual circles. It's not necessarily just called death. It's called Maha Samadhi, merging with the divine, where the soul is now free, is liberated, particularly from a 97-year-old body where you lived a long life surrounded by loved ones. And see, this is the wood that they're going to put the body in and burn the body. And so this is Amma Swami's around the fire pit. I imagine Damayanti Amma's body is in there. And see, it's not there anymore, it's there. And you see it's very somber, but also this Agni is the god of fire, taking the smoke up to heaven and shedding the mortal coil, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, just like we put on new clothes at the beginning of each day and change clothes at the end of the day, so too does the soul shed its body at the end of this life and take on a new body at the beginning of the new life. But very sacred time, and I wanted to do this because it's a very auspicious time for people to pass on Pitru Paksha. So she's passing at the time when we are to honor our ancestors. Again, Pitru means Pitris, which are the ancestors, and Paksha is that cycle of the moon. So that cycle of the moon from the full moon, usually in Aquarius, until the new moon in Virgo is called Pitru Paksha, and then the next new moon starts Navratri, which is the Divine Mother celebration. And that's the new moon after the equinox, the autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere. So all of these rhythms and cycles of nature happen, and they're all coordinated with spiritual celebrations. I've taught some amazing classes on understanding the astrology behind all of these celebrations, if you're interested in that. But so I just wanted to mention this and talk about this very revered time, the very famous death that we've all been seeing with Queen Elizabeth and all of that, handled very differently, although, it's been quite revered in its own way. But this is another cultural affectation of literally the Queen and the mother of the Queen. This is more like the Queen Mother. And if you don't know who the Queen is, it's Amma. Because look at all these people here surrounding Amma in her ashram. And I don't mean Amma's mother. I mean Amma. This lady here has hugged 30 million people. She's one of the most famous people in the world. If you don't know who she is, Amma or Ammachi is one of the most amazing saints that has ever lived. Traveling around, touching so many, supporting hospitals and humanitarian causes all over the world. And so her mother passing is a sad and touching moment, but also one of reflection where we're brought into a place to not overlook and not take for granted the life we have, and understand the life we have as being sacred. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. If you want to learn more about the sacred stories and celebrations of India and how they're timed to the astrology, go to astrologyofstories.com and you will get this amazing class, only $47, long and detailed course on this subject. Please find me on YouTube at Sam Jeppy, Vedic Astrology Teacher. On there since 2007, thousands of hours of classes. Also on Facebook at Astrology Teacher, tons of articles updated regularly. And I'm on Instagram at Vedic Astrology 108, ongoing updates and interaction.